Hey, my name is PolishLynx and welcome to actually the re-recording of this episode of Katawa Shoujo because I messed up and I did not change the source. After recording the demo of the Kickstarter demo of Creature Consorts for you, which I was asked to do. Later I recorded Katawa Shoujo and I forgot to change the sources. And I ended up basically with just a webcam and commentary and no game insight. So we are going to do it one more time. Still, we'll definitely enjoy it. Let's get to it. I mean, at least I will enjoy it. I wake up to the annoying din of my alarm clock. Its bright red number lighting up my face. It's the same alarm clock I had at home. One of the few remaining artifacts from my days before coming to Yamaku. I'd hoped that using it would help ease my transition into this new life. No such luck, for grudgingly dragging myself out of the bed. I wipe the sleep out of my eyes, then reach over to my desk. I open a couple of the bottles of medications, tune across it, and swallow a few pills dry. By now, the process is starting to become automatic. Something I should be glad for given their purpose. Feeling much more awake than before, I wander into the bathroom. Will we run into someone here? While the shower warms me up, my mind begins to wander as my new daily routine begins once again. The bright colors of the fireworks fill my mind. So do the two girls with whom I spent my time watching them. It feels strange to be moved so much by people I know so little about. But again, I suppose these aren't normal circumstances. At least I have someone to talk to now, aside from my schoolmate next door, my best friend Kenji. With the time left before school begins today waning, I begin to get ready for class. Walking through the door into the classroom, I notice that I'm still somewhat early. I see about 5 or 6 students milling around, most of them looking as they'd rather be still in bed, which is understandable. It's at times like that I appreciate being a morning person. That said, 2 students in particular seem just as perky as always. Hi Shizune. Hi Misha. We interact way too often with them, to be honest. I suddenly realized that my greeting would be lost on the former, so I quickly follow it with a wave. She didn't seem very overly bothered. Or interested, for that matter. Hello, Hit-chan! Are you feeling well? I can only assume her greeting comes from herself, because not from Shizune, obviously. It's hard to tell if she's being asked herself or Shizune sometimes for. Better than most everyone else, I guess. You two seem bright and chipper. Misha signs this back to Shizune as I say it, eliciting a somewhat terse answer. If her sharp and rapid arms movements are any indication. Considering that these two made such a big deal out of the festival preparations, I probably should have chosen my words more carefully. Since you're a new student, we've been cutting you some slack. Please don't expect this kind of task dodging to be allowed in the future. Like you have anything to say about it. Misha looks as if she's about to add her own comment, but quickly goes back to interpreting as Shizune continues unabated. While your contribution to class 3-2 stall is appreciated. Word sure got around quickly. That or these two have their fingers on the pulse of the school. Probably a second, because nobody would like to talk with them, let's face it. Because Shizune. We would prefer your efforts to be focused on the task at hand, namely, your own class. Technically you say that, but our own class didn't do anything. Or at least we don't know anything. Nobody told us anything about our class doing anything. Even the previous route, the class didn't really do anything. Right? It was the student council that did something. So, kinda pointless remark. As much as I hate to admit it. No, I don't. They do have points. Except they don't. Because the class. We don't even know if the class did something. Before I agree respond for, she's gonna add something more, which draws a smile from Misha. Do you enjoy the festival then? Well, duh. Lecture over, I guess. Yeah, it was good. Did you too enjoy it? Shizune gives a short note and Misha grins and builds her up and down. The contrast side by side is amusing. Out of the corner of my eye, I notice more students starting to trickle in the classroom. A quick glance at my watch confirms that they're a few minutes late. I look over to Hanako's seat and realize that she's already there, and contentedly reading a book. It makes me wonder just how long she's been there without me noticing. She could be a ninja. With heavy footsteps coming up the hallway, signaling Muto's arrival, our idle talking comes to an end and I take my seat next to Misha. As the door slides open, he strides through with ponderous gait. His posture is even worse than usual, and his eyes are barely staying open. I guess my quip to Lilly and Hanako about the stuff was misplaced. Everyone opens their books as he reaches his desk, and the first class of the new week begins. I rub my eyes as the lunch bell rings out, glad for the temporary reprieve from work. I'm entirely unsurprised when I look over to the door and see Lilly standing there, cane in hand, patiently waiting for Hanako. Considering her acceptance of my request to join them yesterday, I decide to spend my lunchtime with them rather than eat alone. Hanako moves surprisingly fast to meet her companion, and the two enter the hallway before I can catch up. Lily's head turns slightly, registering the sound of footsteps behind her. As I notices and follows her lead, she almost jumps in surprise.
Hisao. Hello, Hisao.
Hi. Sorry if I startled you. Lily turns to greet me, helped in her orientation by Hanako.
Good afternoon, Hisao. Are you perhaps joining us?
If it's no trouble, there is not much else to do really. Lee gives a small nod, as if to silently brush away any idea that it would be troubling in the least. We descend one set of stairs and walk down the hallway to the usual room. Our pace... Wait, we just said... I thought that the supposed tea room was higher than our classroom. I don't know why I was sure that's the case. Whatever. We descend one set of stairs and walk down the hallway to the usual room. Our pace somewhat quicker than usual thanks to using Hanako for direction, rather than her cane and railings. As expected, it's deserted. The sounds of the other clubs can only barely be heard as sunlight streams into the room from outside. Looking around the room, I notice a couple of empty easels propped up against the wall that I don't think were there before. The art club must use this room as an extra storage.
Maybe? Should I get the chess out?
Hanako's voice seems less tense when she's directly addressing Lily.
Yes, I'll make tea while you sort the pieces.
I can do that for you if you'd like.
Oh?
She ponders the offer for a moment before smiling, confirming that I've made the right choice. Her face is remarkably easy to read.
Very well. Thank you.
She slides her retracted cane to the handle of her bag and sets it against one of the table legs, before taking a seat opposite Hanako. As I prepare tea for the three of us, I can hear the small wooden pieces being set on the board. I wonder how good Lily is at chess, given her circumstances. By the time I place the steaming teacups on the table, Lily and Hanako have already moved their first pieces as they nibble on sandwiches and rice balls from their respective bags. It looks sorta different, ain't it? I note that the chessboard they're using has holes in the middle of each square and pegs on the bottom of the pieces, and and has each dark square slightly raised. Watching Lily's fingers scanning over the board, tracing out the position of the pieces, makes me marvel at the simple ingenuity of the design. It must be specifically made for blind players. Which makes sense. Here you go. Hanako gives a small nod as I put down the cup next to her next to her side of the board. Lily's hand ventures sideways slightly, so I gently place the cup, touching the tips of her fingers, a gesture she seems to appreciate. I finally take a seat and silently sip my tea as the two play. The contrast in their appearances while playing is interesting to watch. Hanako looks closely at the board, her face one of focused concentration. Lily, on the other hand, keeps her head level and maintains her calm neutrality. Lily's gentle voice addresses both of us as she continues to play.
How was class? Now that the festival is over?
I look to Hanako to see whether she will answer first, but she is doing the same thing, you know. Not too great. How the class seemed to be dozing off, even including the teacher. Not to mention tests on top of all of that. Hanako quietly adds her own agreement to this.
I could imagine that being a bit difficult for you, being a transfer student.
Well, I think I did fine. Other than the shock of the test coming so early, science is probably my best subject. How did you do, Hanako?
Okay, I guess.
Hanako's too sincere to be able to pull off lying very well, that much is obvious. Lily's smile slips very slightly from her reaction. Hanako mustn't be skilled enough at academics to do very well without preparation. Kind of same. Depended on the subject. I mean, like maths, physics, easy. English also, I guess. German at the time also, yes. I mean, if you pulled off a test, like, in a way that, you know, you had a lesson and in the end, okay, the test with what we had, I could probably do it. With German, English, probably easily. Back in the day with German. Now with German, not really. With physics and maths, I probably would pass. I mean, it's only about knowing the formulas, more or less. And then being sorta creative in the mind. But if it was a theoretical subject, well, that's a completely different matter, and I hate it when they do that. When they did that. I think from geography? Yeah, from geography. In junior high school, on first year, we had something like that. She was like, okay, the class is finished for today. Now we are going to do test of what we've had covered today. And oh, for fuck's sake. What is wrong with you, woman? This is theory. You can't do a theoretical test the same day, the same hour. So I cheated on those, obviously. Because I'm unable to remember theory in an instant. Anyway. How did your class handle it, Lily? We don't know if she had it before, right?
It went surprisingly well, actually. Only one student was absent.
Kenji. It was Kenji, wasn't it? Definitely Kenji.
Which was better than what the teacher expected.
With the topic all but run dry, the two concentrate on their chess game once again. I can't say I ever liked the idea of chess as spectator sport. I mean, I don't even know the rules of chess, let's face it. So there is that. I mean, sort of, unfortunately, I guess. I mean, I wouldn't mind learning, but I definitely won't do that on my own accord. You know, sorta, oh, you know what? Instead of recording, I will learn to play chess today. Yeah, that's not going to happen. Let's face it. Anyway, but given its unique nature, for once I'm wrapped in watching the game unfold. I actually watched the tournament, I mean not so long ago technically, the supposed trash taste when it participated. For technically I only watched from Connor's perspective. Yeah. And I still didn't know what was going on, right? I can say wait, I read this already. No, okay. As time wears on, both of them demonstrate decent skill at playing the game, I think. Having captured 2 more pawns than Hanako, Lilly has the upper hand, but only slightly. Until Hanako makes a strange move with her queen. Seizing up on its lapse in judgment, Lilly takes the piece with her knight. Without hesitation. Hanako moves the pawn to take Lilly's rook on the opposite side of the board and promotes it to queen. Lilly's face falters as her fingers move over the pieces and she realizes that she just fell to Hanako's trap. It's a little distracting to have the board traced out after each move, even if it's out of necessity. I mean, makes sense. You know what's funny for? I know I'm getting at the details right now, but you know, all the moves and so on, and the pieces are still in the starting positions. I had to nitpick on this, okay, I had to. Lilly's face falters as her fingers move over the pieces and she realizes that she just fell to Hanako's trap. It's a little distracting to have the board traced out after each move, even if it's out of necessity, and I read this again. Judging by Hanako's lack of reaction, she must be used to this. She and Lilly must have played at least a few games of chess against each other after all. Check. That's not bad at all. Nice, Hanako. She smiled. The compliment caused her to flower into a surprised blush.
Thank you. I didn't think it would work.
I look over to Lilly, her fingers having just finished tracing out the position of her remaining pieces in an attempt to extricate her king from his bind.
I think this is a checkmate.
I take another look at the board to confirm. Sure enough, her king has nowhere to escape without being threatened by another piece. My earlier question as to which of them is better at this has just been answered. So it is. Lee gives a small sigh as Hanako smiles. From their reactions, this seems like a fairly usual result. How long have you two been playing?
Since I was young.
You are still young, fool. Lilly's noted Hanako's brief answer.
Hanako taught me how to play soon after I met her. I can beat her every now and then, but that's a rarity. I don't seem to have the right mindset for it.
If Lilly came to Yamaku at the start of high school and met Hanako when she moved to the dorms, that would mean she's only been playing for about 1 year. After seeing Hanako's level of play, I'm not surprised if Lilly has trouble beating her.
But she's better at language than I am, so...
Lilly gives an appreciative, if slightly amused, smile at Hanako's quick reversal of her compliment.
Well, that's how it is.
Much to everyone's surprise, the bell suddenly rings, heralding an end to the lunch of the break. To the lunch break. The end to the lunch break, yes.
That game lasted longer than I thought it did.
Same. I guess we'd better get back to the class. Hanako's already in the middle of packing up, so I take Lilly's bag and offer it to her. To my surprise, she takes it and nods, but then places it back down on the table.
Ooh, I need to go to the parcel locker.
Kinesiology tapes. Yeah.
Hisao, right, Hisao. May I make a request?
Sure, go ahead.
Would you mind if I were to quickly feel your face?
No. Go ahead, I don't mind. The question takes me severely off guard, but once I regain my composure, it seems sensible enough. So far, Liz had no intent
Sorry, no idea what I actually look like, and this would be her only way to find out. Yeah. Lilly raises her hand, her right hand, which I take in mine and guide to my face before letting go. The room is entirely silent as Lilly's hand moves over and around my features. From my chin to my cheeks to everywhere else. I expected this to feel a lot more disquieting than it does. I suppose that's because the action is entirely a matter of practicality being functionally no different to simply looking at someone's face. Her hand is soft, but what takes me by surprise is the length of her fingers. Not to mention how sure even the slightest of her movements are. I have no doubt that her level of tactile feeling would be far beyond mine. Far beyond mine. I'm making so many mistakes today. I should get something to drink as well. Her hand briefly runs once through my hair before retreating. I'm sure that every inch of my face has been committed to her memory. It's only now too that I realize Hanako has been silently watching the entire time.
Thank you for letting me do that, Hisao. And if I may add, I think you're quite handsome.
I blushed at the remark, before raising questioning eyebrow. But if you can't see how...
Just because I can see that doesn't mean I don't have my own preferences. We'd better go.
Come on, click. Yeah, that's a good point. I guess we'll see you later then, Lilly. And that's how we walk out and actually walk back with Lilly. Haha, such a bad timing, Hisao. With the text. Walking through the hallways back to our classrooms, I noticed that Hanako seems quieter than before, but also more comfortable. I think what Lilly did right now kind of, would get comfort to Hanako as well. Her hand on Hanako's shoulder seems to pick up on her assured pace as well, smiling as they walk. If I could spend the rest of my time in Yamaku like this, I don't think it'd be so bad. All that's needed for joy are small exchanges of happiness, after all. As I reach my desk and set my back beside it, I realize something. Or rather, my stomach does. Jokes on you, I actually ate before recording. For once. I was so busy with those two, I forgot to buy lunch. And I don't mean breakfast, I mean dinner here actually. First time in ages I ate a dinner before recording. Anyway, Saturday. My second most favorite day of the week. This is almost entirely due to the fact that it is the day with the second least amount of school, with class ending at the beginning of lunch. I opened my door confidently, myself being more than confident of being able to get enjoyment out of the fine weather and shorter class length. I confidently stride down the hallway and down the stairs to the lobby of the male dorms. I confidently look behind me to see whose footsteps are approaching. I lose my confidence in this day being enjoyable. Is it Shizune? For some reason? No, it's not! My day is still enjoyable. Hey man, sup? Not much, I guess. Just looking forward to the afternoon. You? He wraps an arm around my slumped shoulders far too comfortably. Something is up. Let's step outside, shall we? I was just about to before you stopped me. He doesn't take my reaction to his tricks well. Ignoring him, I walk outside and start down the steps. It doesn't take too long for him to catch up with me again. I wonder if he wants money or to rant about another conspiracy. Maybe both. 5.5 hours into this route. Wow. I don't remember how long it took us to cover the previous route. Oh, sorry. Oh. I've got a bone to pick with you. Huh? It's about the blondie. You know who I'm talking about. Conspiracy it is. For a moment I contemplate feigning ignorance, but realize this will go quicker if I just let him get it all out. Lilly, the one from your class? You ran first name tears with her? He looks positively shocked at this development. Did he not expect me to be able to answer? He gathers himself and coughs into his fist, dramatically like everything he does. Well, never mind that. I'm here to warn you. You know, man to man. Warn me about what? Lilly? Yeah, you don't know her, man. It's mostly true. I've only known her and Hanako for less than 2 weeks. And even then, we've just been exchanging banal chatter about school as we were while away lunch. What? As we while away lunch? That's not English, is it? Whatever. I'm pretty sure you don't either. That's not the point. You're the one spending inordinate amounts of time with her. It distresses me that someone like Kenji, who's probably as far out of the loop as one could possibly get, knows about such a trivial fact as who I choose to befriend. Then again, I'm a transfer student, and she's not only their representative of their class, but also a tall blondie. I don't know why I'm saying blondie. Blonde. Tall blonde. If I say blondie, that would kind of inquire. No, I won't say it right now. I'm not saying what I wanted to say, actually. Maybe I should appreciate this ranting as a warning that the rumor mill exists in this school, and that I'm firmly within it. It's just lunch. Nothing special. Look, man. Under the bridge. See this under the bridge? It's you. A man's gotta do what man's gotta do to get intel. I just want to make sure you don't end up too far under the bridge. You're losing me, Kenji. That's okay. Lots of people get lost. That's why I'm here to help. Just be careful around her, okay? She looks all harmless on the outside. But I've heard shite. Bad shite. You know the student council, right? Unfortunately. He seems to involuntarily shudder as he says the words. Putting him and Shizune together in a room is an amusing mental exercise. I wonder if they've met. We should do it. Yeah. They are in my class. Both of them. I seem to have dodged the draft for. Oh, good, man. Good. But this blonde, she was there. In the student council. Right? Damn there. I see. And she's not there now. Understandable. I would quit myself. Seriously, think about it. Something must have gone down. I stopped walking for a moment, giving the idea more of a thought than I probably should. It would explain that fight that we had, at least in part. Wait, no, not really. Even leaving the student council would need a catalyst. In the end, it doesn't explain much at all, other than the fact that their feud goes back some ways. I guess you have a point. I'm not seeing how that really affects me for. Okay, now fill this one. At least for Rain, obviously. Obviously. Now, what nationality is she? British, I guess? I opened my mouth to give the answer, but realized that I have none. In fact, I've given the matter very little thought. Given that she has no accent and acts perfectly just Japanese, I suppose it never really seemed important. Now that he mentions it, I'm rather curious. To be honest, I don't know. Maybe English? They like tea. I like tea too, and I'm not English. I probably shouldn't resort to stereotypes, but that's the only lead I have. You're not thinking. Luckily, you have me here think for you. Gee, thanks. He brushed off the quip effortlessly. Now answer me this. Who has lots of social power, is still fisting you rich? You know, blondes are all rich, right? Is that so? Has a long history of disputes and used to belong to a much larger organization? The Roman Catholic Church. Well, okay, that is that. But there is also the Mafia. Come on, rich, foreign. There is no way she doesn't have connections to them. Dude. I'm in. Are you trying to convince me to her even more? I have reason to doubt the logic of his action, but he shows no sign of no stopping. So, do you know where I think she's from? Italy. Mainland Italy's small time, dude. She has to be from Sicily. All those mafioso types come from there. Wait, no. Russia. Damn, this could be bad. The mafia is serious business, man. Ex-KGB everywhere, paramilitaries, hardcore smuggling, and... Wait. Just stop. Just slow down a sec. What point are you trying to get at here? You know what you'll do, man. I won't get in your way. Agents don't operate like that, but I just want you to be careful. When the time comes, we'll need all the help we can get. I don't want to lose you, comrade. Well, at least he's concerned for me. Kinda. I wave goodbye to him as we separate out to our respective classes, but I'm not sure that he sees the gesture. Piling my books in my bag, I catch a glimpse of the library books I borrowed last week. I might as well return them, considering they took all of 2 days to finish. I briefly consider inviting Hanako along to the library, but she's already gone. It'd probably be better for my studying if I'm alone anyway. With a quick stretch and a wave to a couple of classmates who give the same to me, I make my way out of the classroom. As I open my bag and shove the books through the return slot in the front counter, I notice a strange person behind the desk. Alden Graying? She must be Yuko's replacement when she's working in the cafe. I begin looking for a free table. A task made somewhat difficult considering that, despite there not being many students here, they are all sitting at their own tables. Noticing a familiar head of hair, I walk over to the one near the braille section. It's hard to tell whether Lilly is concentrating hard or not, her placid expression holding perfectly still as her finger slides across the dot-filled pages of her book. Hi. Mind if I sit here?
Oh, no problem at all.
She tears off, evidently still focused on her business at hand.
Ah, Hisao.
She gives a note of greeting as I sit opposite her at the table. Pluck a chemistry textbook out my bag and quickly down to the chapter we're covering in class. For a while we sit there and read, each in our own way. Seeing her reminds me of what Kenji said this morning. That and the fact that I've never seen someone read in braille before makes me keep throwing glances at her. I kind of feel guilty about it, given that she has no way to realize I'm doing so I decide to just ask her about it. Her lineage isn't exactly a state secret, after all, and there is another thing I've only just noticed from her movements. Hey Lily, mind if I ask a question?
Not at all. Is anything wrong?
I was just wondering. You're at least part foreign, right? She gives a small giggle before setting down her book.
I've always been amused at how squeamish people are about it. Akiros mentioned how much she and I look different from most others before. The details are a bit complicated, but I'm half Japanese, half Scottish.
Told you she was British. Scottish. That was not exactly my first guess. It takes some effort to not blurt it out loud. I tried to conjure images of the place in my mind. I think as far as the UK goes, Scotland isn't bad to live in. Is it? Guys, because I don't know. How is living in Scotland? Anyone lives there maybe? Perhaps anyone watching? Anyone surviving so far with me in this video? I think I actually can check. Where was it? No, audience. I can actually check if I had anyone from Scotland checking out those videos. It will take. Okay, it loaded. Let's see. Oh, okay, it works. Oh. Nobody's from Scotland watches my videos. Wait, or maybe no. So if I go England, what the hell? Does it not? I think this United Kingdom. Okay, so it's United Kingdom only. Sure, technically it's part of Scotland. 1, 2, 3. In the 4th place. Nice. Nice. Okay, the most people from USA, then Japan. Nice. Poland. Why Poland? United Kingdom, Russia, and so on. Anyway, so I don't have the insight exactly if anyone from Scotland watches, but maybe someone lived there. How is it? Anyway, I'm not really sure myself, obviously. My first guess of England, I mean, probably still better than Poland, right? My first guess of England was surprisingly close, at least geographically. That does leave another question for. But then again, now Scotland is not also in the European Union. For that kinda sucks because of yeah. My first guess of England was surprisingly close, at least geographically. That does leave another question for. But you have no accent. That's where the details begin. I was born and raised in Japan, despite my mother being foreign. Ah, I get it. Hold on, if she moved to the dorm simply to Akira working longer hours. So, they don't live near a school? I think he shouldn't ask that. Well, actually, she gave it a small size, as if she didn't expect to go any deeper. Was her previous frankness just a front? Not exactly. It's been a long time since we've actually met. You know what? I mean, I know Katawa Shoujo is surprisingly supposedly pulling on your feelings and so on. With Shizune's, there wasn't much of that really. But I kind of, my mind, because of me sorts of knowing that, creates worst case scenarios, possible worst case scenarios. I'm thinking, did Lilly lose her eyesight during her life, or is it from the moment she was born? And if it's, you know, during life, the loss of sight, is because she saw something that caused her to lose the sight, or what? And now that line, you know, it's been a long time since we've actually met. You know, that kind of created a very bad scenario right now in my mind. Okay, maybe we'll find out eventually, but I think now is not the good moment for it, man. Let's drop the subject, Hisao. I feel like I'm not getting the whole story, but I don't really want to go until prying into her situation. Her about face shows she feels kind of awkward about it. So, do you speak much English? To be honest, I don't know that much about Scotland, but at least I know that's the main language there. It takes a moment to collect herself, appreciating change of topic. That's right.
My family mostly used Japanese around the house when I was young, but they made sure Akira and I knew our Scottish side just as well. I'm fluent in the language, but I'm also studying in school to keep my skills up and to have the qualifications on paper mainly.
That's a nice school if they get you the paper as well for the language. My school didn't offer that. I was going for a short while to like language school for a very short while because eventually the teacher switched, because the one I attended the lessons at, who was super cool, really cool. I enjoyed those lessons with her as well. But yeah, she got pregnant, so the other took over, obviously, in that situation. And the other one was, I mean, typical old generation teacher, and that was terrible. And I stopped basically working there. So with that, I kind of abandoned the idea to get a proper paper from there, right? But, well, I got the classes in university as well, which got me the C1 paper, so I'm good. I probably maybe could go for C2. Maybe I'll go after that eventually. I'd probably need to sit up to make myself, remember the proper way of formulating words and so on, but whatever. I think I'd be able to deal with the talking exam easily. It's the writing. I probably would deal with the writing as well, but to get the really actually solid result, probably need to study a little bit. Anyway, so you're bilingual. That's pretty impressive. Yeah. I mean, technically I am as well, right? Polish, English. I could even step it up if I actually studied the German properly later on, after high school. Actually, after junior high school, because in high school my German lessons were trash as well. So yeah.
I wouldn't go that far. Having parents who can speak the language is a large advantage, and English books in Braille aren't too hard to buy or import. With Yuko's help at least. There is a relatively high demand for local English teachers here anyway, which also helps me give some motivation to learn it well.
Demand for English teachers, for a moment, I wonder why she brought this up. You're planning to be an English teacher, maybe? She gives an enthusiastic note. It was nice, having such a definite future in mind. I've never really given much thought to mine, so I'm kind of envious. Understandable. I would be as well. I've never had actual goal of mine.
What's wrong?
It just... I could see you as a teacher pretty easily. It suits you. For a moment, she's speechless. She lowers her face a little and lets out a nervous giggle, something I've never seen her do before. With Lily's role as a class representative and her dependable nature, teaching does seem to be a line of work fitting her personality. Yeah. Sorry, that's probably as much. It is true, for. Waving her hand in front of her face dismissively, she quickly recovers.
It's not that, it's just only one person's ever said that to me before.
A short, somewhat awkward... Hanako? A short, somewhat awkward silence follows the discussion. Without knowing it, I ended up steering the troublesome topic again. I should try to cheer her up a little bit. It was me who went and got her brooding after all. Want to go grab lunch at the cafeteria after this? It might pack her up a bit, or at least take her mind off her apparently complicated family situation. Going by her smile, it seems to have the intended effect.
I appreciate the thought, but the food there...
Quite a quick redirection of the conversation. She does have a point for. The food there isn't the greatest. Maybe the Shanghai. We could ask Hanako if she wants to come as well. What is it?
I almost forgot until you reminded me. Hanako's birthday is coming up soon, and I was going to go shop in the city for a present tomorrow.
I know what we are doing tomorrow. If that's an invitation, I'd be happy to accompany you. The ability to get more used to the layout of the city would probably be a good thing. I have barely set foot in there, so I'd be hopelessly lost by myself. She gives a nod, signaling that she happily approves of this plan for Sunday. We eventually get back to our books, for before I begin reading again, I steal one last glance at her. Maybe I've been thinking of my situation too much. After all, everybody here would have their own unique circumstances. The chance to get outside and clear my head would probably do me a good. Okay, we'll continue tomorrow. For now, hope you enjoyed. I'll see you in the next episode. And okay, I need to go to that parcel locker and pick up the packages, which is on the other side of the road. I might also do some shopping myself. Anything else? Not really. And I'm back. I record the next episode, probably. And then probably later at night I'll record some more. Anyway, see you tomorrow. Have a wonderful day. Bye bye.